sir.
Okay.
Live streaming is done, sir.
Anil sir, you can start the session, sir.
Good morning, one and all. I welcome our guest speaker of today's session, Dr. Gangadhar Sunkara, our director, Dr. Kumar V.S. Nimani, principal, Dr. K. Prasad, dignitaries, and all participants. We welcome you all to the 6th day session of FDP on drug discovery and development. Firstly, I would like to introduce our director, sir, Dr. Kumar V.S. Nimani, director, Sri Vishnu College of Pharmacy, is holding a B.Pharm and M.Pharm degree in pharmacology from Andhra University Visakhapatnam. He has earned his PhD degree from Naipur Mohali and subsequently postdoctorate fellowship from McGill University, Montreal, Canada. He has over 14 years of industrial experience, expertise on drug discovery and development, and managerial experience. Coming to our principal, Dr. K. Prasad completed his B.Pharm, M.Pharm, PhD in Andhra University, worked in various teaching designations, professors in HKE College, Gulbarga, and presently serving as principal of our college since 2011. He has wide research experience with several DBT, AICTE, and other research grants to his credit. Now I would like to request our director, sir, Dr. Kumar V.S. Nimani of Sri Vishnu College of Pharmacy to welcome all. Thank you, sir.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 6 of Drug Discovery and Development webinar. I am pleased to inform all of you that the number of registrations for this series is more than 1,000. And we are very delighted with these numbers and the kind of feedbacks that we are getting for each and every talk by the eminent speakers. So at this note, I'd like to welcome you all, and at the same time, thank you for participating in this webinar series at this pandemic. I, on behalf of the management of Sri Vishnu Education Society, our chairman, sir, Sri K. Vishnu Raju Garu, our vice chairman, Sri Raichandam Rajagopal Garu, and principal Dr. K. Prasad Garu, and staff of Sri Vishnu College of Pharmacy. Welcome you all for this webinar series. I also like to thank the organizing secretary, Mr. Anil Kumar, and the program coordinator, Dr. Sujit Kumar, for nicely arranging the every aspect of this event. At this juncture, I also welcome as well as thank all the principals and the senior faculty of various colleges who are constantly supporting this event. So at this moment, I'm delighted, proud, and happy to see one of my best friend and big motivator, Dr. Gangadhar. Thank you, Dr. Gangadhar, and welcome you for this webinar series. I'm looking forward for your great talk and good interaction. I know Dr. Gangadhar from 1996. I worked together for 1 year or so in Dr. Reddy's Research Foundation, Hyderabad, as a pharmacologist. And I see him from day one. He's very excited, interested, energetic, enthusiastic towards many activities, not just doing the pharmacology work. And to his credit, he has been in various senior level positions in good organizations like Novartis. And he started his career with B.Pharm degree from Kakti University, followed by M.Pharm, and then job at Dr. Reddy's. Then interestingly, both attended the interview for NIPER same time. Even today, it happened to be more than 2 decades back. Even today, I see very vividly. He was interviewed, and after his interview is my interview, and he's coming out of the room, and I'm getting into that interview room. And the panel of experts sitting in that interview for the PhD program at NIPER, the very first batch of NIPER interview, the panel is telling, this is the guy we need for the pharmaceutics department. So I was very happy to see my friend is selecting. So I felt I may also get selected for this event in that scenario. So I had that very good interaction. You rarely see that kind of comments from the interview committee. And it's a spontaneous reaction from the committee saying that Mr. Gangadhar is the ideal person for a PhD in organizations like NIPER. Interesting enough is he didn't opt NIPER. Other if he might have opted, he will be the first person in pharmaceutics from PhD from NIPER. So rather he opted a better option and he moved to US for his PhD. And I did a PhD in pharmacokinetics. And following that, he joined organizations joined Novartis, and he started his career in pharmacokinetics. And interesting fact is that at the same he did MBA. So you all see now, I'm seeing many of the students here after B.Pharm itself or Pharm.D itself, they're feeling tired as if a lot of study has been done and getting into something, job, but you see he has done PhD, and then while doing job in industry, and industry jobs are highly demanding, and when he's working in pharmacokinetics department in Novartis, an international organization, and at same he did MBA for 3 years while doing job. So you can imagine now the energy levels that he has and interest and passion for doing big things. And truly enough, he moved to the higher ladders at Novartis. He's being a director, executive director, and now presently is a global head for clinical programs, sitting in US and overseeing the global activities of a program for Novartis. And today I requested him more than the science to talk on many other aspects which are very relevant and interesting and useful for academia to work with industry. So more than science, he has seen science enough, and he can talk kinetics, biopharmaceutics, like anything. But we requested him, and also is interested in doing more than science. And today he will be delivering talk on not just science, he touch upon science, but many other important aspects. And he is one thing which very unique with him is always energetic, always enthusiastic, and a lot of positive energy, and he does many social activities. So whenever I talk to him, I get very excited about a decade back, almost about 7-8 years back. I met him in Pune. He came for a college to promote the research in academic institute. So he is being in a senior position and heading the various departments, but he's still interested to come to college and promote the pharmacy education. So this is some activity which he's doing from the past few decades. He has his own lab. He set up his own lab in Novartis, Hyderabad. He has about 15 people working with him. And he is going to many colleges and motivating the youngsters to take up on the research, are doing great job in pharmacy field. I think he's a very apt person, and I'm very glad and excited to see my friend again and again. And in fact, last December, we have one person, Dr. Loka, has come from US. He has also given a tailored talk on pharmacometrics, and Dr. Gangadhar is mentor for him too. So now you can imagine how many people he has influenced in this field. And we are fortunate to have him today. And so I thank Gangadhar once again for accepting our invitation and going to deliver talk today. So at this note, I also thank all of you who have just joined for this webinar series. I hope this webinar series is interesting and useful to all of you. And I expect you all to give honest feedback and also suggest a few webinar topics so that we can give and organize such webinars in the future course. So at this note, I thank once again Dr. Gangadhar and welcome for this webinar series. I will request our organizing secretary to introduce Dr. Gangadhar to the audience prior to his talk. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Subramanian, how do you go by your name, Kumar or Subramanian? How do you go in Bhimavaram?
So I have many names. At university, I was NVSK. At Punjab, because Subramaniam is a difficult name. And Dr. Reddy's, my name is Subramaniam. I think this is a good point. I need to clarify to my students as well. So NVSK is my name at university. And when I moved, then at Dr. Reddy's, Subramaniam. Then at NIPER, I was Kumar. At postdoc, Kumar Nammani, and I continue with Dr. Kumar Nammani now.
Okay, now good. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your welcoming words. Now I am delighted in introducing today's speaker, Dr. Gangadhar Chunkara, Senior Global Program Clinical Head, Novartis, New Jersey, USA. He completed his B.Pharm and M.Pharm from Andhra University, Warangal, India. PhD in Pharmaceutical Sciences, University of Nebraska Medical Center, US. He has served as Senior Pharmacologist in Dr. Reddy's Research Foundation, Senior Global Program Clinical Head, Novartis for Biomedical Research, Executive Director in Novartis Institutes and Program Head in Novartis, Global Program Medical Director, Global Program Tech Head, Novartis Pharmaceuticals. Published research articles in high-impact journals in areas of preclinical studies, pharmacokinetic, drug interactions, including clinical research activities. In note of vast research, industrial and managerial experience, we are waiting to listen to your today's session, sir. The topic, Bio-pharmaceutical R&D, redefining the interface between industry and academia. I forward it to your speaker, sir. Please start your session. Thank you.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you. And also, can you all hear me okay? Can you? Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. So first of all, I think Dr. Kumar, thank you for so many nice words and kind introduction. I was actually literally blushing here. I didn't even know that about that NIPER interview and the outcome. But thanks for reminding me those days, how we traveled together and how we used to discuss. But I think one thing I have learned from you during the Dr. Reddy's days, that you are very perfectionist and very thorough, meticulous scientist. So I think I never forgot you, mainly because I have carried some of those attributes with me to the labs wherever I've gone after Dr. Reddy. So those memories are still with me. And once again, thank you for providing such a kind introduction. Then may I share the screen now in the interest of time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think I see there are 65 participants. I assume that these are all faculty members, research students or PhD students, M.Pharms, as well as Pharm.D students and B.Pharmacy final year students as well, right?
Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. So, so hello everybody. I hope you are all able to see my screen here. Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
Yes, very good. So when Dr. Kumar asked me, I think probably first of all, a very good morning to all in Bhimavaram. I hope all of you are living in Bhimavaram at this point of time. And I hope you and your families are safe during this pandemic. And first of all, let me congratulate this college management. I mean, when I saw the Vishnu College campus, I mean, it's so impressive. And especially I saw when I noted that Vishnu radio thing, which caught my attention. That means it must be a very huge campus and then very good number of students there with wide array of talents there. I think very good to see. And so congratulations to Vishnu College management for building such a wonderful campus and education. So what happened when Dr. Kumar asked me to give a talk during this week? I was actually debating, should I do lot of clinical sciences, medical sciences, or pharmacokinetic sciences so that I can teach. But in 1 hour time, to share some of those key principles may not be really. I might not be able to do a good justice in that science, and maybe you're all very smart in actually getting appropriate information from this Google Media, Khan academies and stuff. But when I'm seriously confessing here that the reason I chose this topic is because of Dr. Kumar's journey. He being a scientist started his career at Dr. Reddy's, then did PhD, went to an academia, then went to a postdoc in an academia outside of India, then joined industry, and then he came back again to academia. Actually, this kind of a cross pollination across various segments is, I found it's a very, very valuable thing. And for the last 10 or 12 years approximately, I have been going to many colleges and sharing my personal view on how we have to interface, especially the scientist in industry and academia. And I mean, as you see in this picture here, I think the first one, let me try to put this. And so if you see in this diagram here, this lumen, for me, a cell intercell, the cell junction, the cell to cell communicate. Biological system is very well evolved that two cells can easily communicate by chemical means and physical means or through electrical impulses. But somewhere, somehow, I still feel today that industry and academia do not have such an evolved communication cycle. I still feel that we are two independent entities and like behave like two different microorganisms, and then we try to artificially connect with each other, but there is no natural process of adhesion between the two enterprises. And one of my other personal view is that to really bring a drug to a multiple varieties of people, patients across the globe, like various ethnic groups, various body sizes, various age groups, various background disease conditions, and we just develop one dose and one drug and then just we put it. And I strongly believe that to come, in order to for us to come out with a very effective medicine, then probably various wheels have to work together. Then only probably we get an optimal drug that really serves the best benefit risk to the patient. But I still see there is a gap between this industry, regulators, academic scientists, research scientists, development scientists, physicians. Um, I mean, the business people. I don't think we really do a good job. That's why we waste a lot of money in the research and development, and we put all that burden on the patient. at the end of the day, we have a very nice medicine. For example, I was talking to a friend of mine 2 days ago. His father was diagnosed with adenocarcinoma of lung. He's in Bangalore. I mean, all these multinational companies have a great drug available for that particular mutation that this patient has. But it costs almost about 1,30,000 rupees per month. How many people in India can really afford it? So unless all these wheels come together and efficiently and effectively work together, the cost of research and development is not going to be that is minimal, so that at the end of the day, the patients could afford the work that we are all doing. So that's where I'm trying to go to various groups and say, how can we really collaborate and how can we push each other to come out with a better solution and a cost-effective solution. And this is one paper I read. This is from the Proceedings of National Academy of Sciences in the United States. This National Academy of Sciences do a lot of white papers on this. I think they wrote a very nice thing about really for an economic future for the whole US as a capitalistic country. How do we do industry, academia, and government to collaborate? I think they have a beautiful paper. So today's my context is uh, that I really want to share a few of my personal views and how we should interact. And it is not going to be a comprehensive one. I'll spend around 25 to 30 minutes on my opinion, and then I can take more questions, and probably we can have a better discussion on this. And Dr. Kumar also gave me an opportunity to really look at the website of Vishnu College of Pharmacy. And first of all, let me commend that. I mean, I have never known. I always knew only about Andhra University and Kakati University publishing papers from Andhra and Telangana side. But when I saw Vishnu College of Pharmacy, the faculty profiles, especially the PhDs and M.Pharm lecturers and the Pharm.D teachers that I have seen, and the projects that you are all doing, and the publications, I have gone through pretty much all the list of publications that you have put in the website. I mean, I felt very much it is as good as probably, I mean, I should not say this loudly, but is better than probably an Andhra University and Kakati University production of publications at this stage. So first of all, so congratulations to the management of Vishnu College of Pharmacy for able to have such a nice research ecosystem built into your institute. So just again, for every talk, one has to make sure set the expectations. My disclaimer, anything that I say here is nothing to do with Novartis practices or policies. These are pretty much like my personal opinion, and this is only for an educational purposes or a discussion within a community of scientists. It should not impact or this should not hurt anybody's feelings, saying that why this group is thinking, why industry is thinking like this and stuff. So it is only Gangadhar's opinion, nothing to do with Novartis. Yeah. So I think that quick outline here, I'm going to talk a little bit, I know which you all know about this drug development, but I'm going to touch upon this from the perspective of PhD students, B.Pharmacy final year students, and then M.Pharm students. Then I will share what is the missing link in this industry academia interaction. I wish if it was an face-to-face meeting, I would have actually asked a couple of questions to the audience to raise their hands with few survey questions actually, that what do you guys think about how are we doing in academia, industry and stuff. But today in virtual sessions, I think we miss those kind of interactions. And I'm going to give you quick 1 minute of 4 examples that I like the most in the industry academia collaborations. And then I will conclude how we are going to get closer. But I think whether you like it or not, I am being the member of an industry community today with academic mindset working within the industry. I am probably indirectly pushing the faculty, scientists, and students at Vishnu College of Pharmacy to think very aggressively to collaborate with industry to really come out with affordable and high quality medicines to the patients in the world. I think that is my intent of spending this few minutes with all of you today. So before I go to the next slide, may I just check with Dr. Kumar? Everything okay? Can you hear me okay? All
Yes,
audience okay?
yes. Yeah, everything perfect. Yeah.
Yes, very good. So then going to this slide, I think um, again, I just want to, every one of us know in the colleges that we read a lot of books on biology, pharmacology, biochemistry, pharmacognosy, and sometimes I strongly feel that I think this is my small analogy that I always use when I go to elementary schools and high schools. Whenever I come to India, whenever I go to my village and uh, I go to upper primary schools and elementary schools and talk to students. The reason is I used to do a mistake when I was used to read biology until 10th standard, right? If, let us say if there was an eye lesson on eye, I never looked at my eye in the mirror when I was learning about the lesson in the book. That was a black and color eye in our textbooks we used to have. I always tried to memorize it, but I never went and looked that, oh, this is the eye part I have. Okay, this is one. I mean, it never occurred to me that I had to learn about my own eye. Same thing happens in the pharmaceutical R&D also today. We all go through lot of literature. We read so many books. We write, we conduct so many experiments. We analyze data. But sometimes I worry that in this busy schedule of our life, are we really looking at the patient or not? Uh, do we really know how the patient is suffering if we do not provide a solution sooner? So, for example, if you go to the statistics, they say every 3 seconds there is one patient dying with malaria across the globe. And actually, when I calculate this, my heart gets hyped up, and that God, if I delay my drug research by 1 year, how many lives pretty much we have lost just because of the disease? Take the COVID situation itself in the last few months. I can tell you that just because industry and academia research scientists have not been working closely together, now we do not have an infrastructure to bring a vaccine or a drug product in no time. We are still doing this traditional way of drug discovery, now development, and by the time we get this, I don't know how many people we lose because of their hunger and stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that the pharmaceutical R&D mission, every student, scientist, faculty member, whether it's from academia or industry, we must have a completely a patient-centric approach. And we should have that sense of compulsion and urgency to bring medicines rapidly into the clinic. Rapid, the speed. If we keep doing just like for the sake of doing and not pushing ourselves, there are patients dying with the cancers, asthma, COPDs. I think in my mind, I feel that we are committing a lot of sin because we are not running with the sense of urgency. And we all have an obligation, just like in the last 2 years, if you see, last 2 decades, I think we have grown out of landline telephones and big desktop computers to very small device, very fine device with naturally better computing power and ability to reach anybody anywhere with social media, WhatsApp groups, information flows like anything. Whereas if you see the practice of medicine, nothing is happening that fast. I know it's good. We have gone through small molecules, then some 15 years it took biologics, which are very expensive. Not many people can afford. Now we are still talking about only in few countries cell therapies, gene therapies. By the time they really come to India, like countries and Africa, many developing nations, I think it is going to be another 2 decades. Whereas if a cell phone, Apple iPhone was introduced in America, within 2 years, better cell phone model is available in India. Affordable price, people buy it. But when it comes to medicine, very slow. So I strongly believe that the pharmaceutical R&D mission is owned by everybody. in the healthcare community, like both industry, academia, and government, and we must have a patient-centric approach. We must see every day the patient who is going through that pain, and we should have that sense of urgency to bring medicines rapidly to the clinic. And we have to keep on working on change the practice of medicine. Otherwise, sometimes we end up doing the same extractions, same old HPLCs, same small molecule impurity finding, whereas the world other side is actually taking human cells, genetically engineering them, and reintroducing back to the patient to develop immunity or curb immunity. Whereas we are still looking in some of our laboratories in India only impurities and stuff like that. I'm not saying that is not important, but we should advance along with the traditional medicine as well. I don't know how many of you recognize this particular linear uh, drug development cartoon or a figure. One second, I'm not able to see the mouse. Yeah, so if you see this, I hope that all the audience here appreciate that we always talk about cycle management in the drugs. So most of the time, who are very active in the product development research, they always talk about life cycle of a drug, life cycle of a drug. But when you see in this drug development traditional path, we always show it like an arrow in a linear. We never show it in a cycle. This is one of the reasons why we do not do properly research, because if you see here, this is the research scientist doing some drug discovery, who is doing a target discovery validation, some chemistry preclinical experiments, then establishing the metabolisms and safeties of the molecules, and then getting into conducting some very small size patient studies, then going to a very huge registration trials. The distance between this person and this person in the launch is so much. The distance is generations kind. It is like a 10 to 12 years distance. We don't know what the biologist was thinking, and the next generation person is actually selling just based on this. So somewhere, even though we talk about a cycle, we never visualize our patient centric approach and research cycle as a cycle. So what I'm trying to show here to all the members who are attending this meeting is, let us from today think more about drug discovery and development cycle with complete patient centricity. See, in the sense, the reason I'm talking about this, I'll come to you where the collaboration should happen. We have these customers who are physicians. We have to deal with them. We have to learn every day from them that what are the new diseases that are coming, what are the challenges they are facing with the existing therapies. We have to see, we have to ask questions from the patient's point of view, that is the benefit risk is good for the child, for a geriatric patient, or a patient with vulnerable disease or background disease conditions. We need to see the regulatory authorities landscape continuously. So every scientist who is involved with the R&D cycle must keep these three people in their mind every day in, day out. It doesn't matter whether an M.Pharmacy student is working on a small thesis for their M.Pharm degree. They should know what is that patient require, how the government looks at their data, how doctors see this. If these questions are not asked by even a medicinal chemist who is doing extraction, if they don't get to that level, I can tell you that that extraction is just for the sake of the thesis, and student won't learn much, university doesn't get much value out of it, and society, I mean, you can imagine that there is no value we are adding to the society. So these three in a clock like thing, they have to test our way to run faster, like the speed which dictates. But the world is little bit, there are some areas we have to think about is translating research to development. I think the way our education system has been developed is, there are very good chemists. They do fundamentally great organic chemistry. Some people do lot of good in vitro analysis and preclinical experiments. And some people are very good at doing these clinical trials and product development. So the languages that we have during the research time and the languages that people speak in development is entirely different. It is like a German and the Italian. Basically, even though Germans and Italians share one border in the Europe, but the language is completely different. Same thing, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, for example, Telugu and Tamil, completely different languages, but they're next bordering states. Same thing happens in a research and development. They all look in the company that they all belong to one place, but they have a different jargon. So the learning of academia from the industry point of view, we have to start looking and teaching from a translation of this language from research to development. Same thing if you go to this end, the commercial person who is on the field, who is in like a medical scientific liaison or medical affairs functions, they're the one who represent the pharmaceutical product with the physicians, and they are the one who brings lot of ideas back to the research laboratories in the form of unmet medical need. why is why Lipitor is really not working in certain patient population, what percent of population, why certain kidney transplants, or I mean why some patients are able to, I mean, rejecting their transplants. This is the feedback that they get, but their knowledge and the basic chemist, there is a lot of communication gap. By the time this marketing language is translated to the basic chemist, we pretty much lost a lot of time. So what I'm trying to say is that by keeping these academicians who are very good teachers, who reads this information day in day out, preclinical and clinical and pharmacy practice, and interacting with doctors, how do they make sure involve in the speed process by educating industry scientists on time? So I want people to really think on those lines. So the summary here it is, when we are learning any scientific topic, when we are doing any research topic, everyone must promise that they will keep the physician, patient, and regulatory person in their mind, whatever little activity that they do. And we all have to acknowledge that the language we speak in research is different from development, and which is different from the marketing language or commercial language. And therefore, every scientist in this group, they do not have to become experts in these languages, but they need to know minimum alphabets and minimum colloquial words in these things so that their research and development could be enhanced. With this, I would like to go to another topic, just to say, I know these figures are very common in many reports, books, slides, Google can give you this. But my interest here is that what is the wealth of industry's knowledge and information? If you look at this plot, right, here we get one FDA approved drug in the US, let us assume, or globally. In order for one drug to come, you see, I mean, most of you know these numbers. We screen around thousands of compounds. We take some of them to preclinical, and we go to clinical trials, big trials, and then we bring to one. But if we ask a question now, the wealth here, it is not how much money this drug is making. Okay, that is the business equation. But the community of scientists, like researchers, what is the value in these 15 years? In this time, if you see total 10 to 15 years time, there is so much knowledge has been generated, but there is very little knowledge is captured. If there is a scientist in the company who is busy or who is just retiring, have time to publish a paper, they might publish in a medicinal chemistry about this quantitative structure activity relationship with some 10 compounds or 20 compounds done. Or in some people here, they publish their phase 3 trial or 1 or 2 papers in clinical pharmacokinetics or drug xenobiotica. They put some metabolite profile safety done. But I can tell you what we publish in the public domain, the industry publish, is probably infinitesimally small than what the industry has. But who is learning this information? Who is putting all this in computers? And who is doing this? We talk a lot about these data sciences, data analytics, artificial intelligence, or Pythons, R programs. But I think they're all doing everything on the surface only. People have to put the information they gained, knowledge gained from these compounds across the companies, across the programs, and then they put subject them to data analytics and get the hypotheses and ideas, and then come out with the next generation better medicine to the patients. So this wealth, it is just like a gold mine buried somewhere. I think industry has lot of this knowledge, but industry always focus on moving so fast from a product to commercial oriented. And I always believe that academicians smartly, strategically should go and dig these mines and bring this gold out and then make some nice ornaments and give it to the public and patients. So I think what I'm trying to here to say is that academicians not only have to wait for the research in the published in the journals and textbooks and notebooks. We have to proactively go and dig into the databases of industry and make some papers and do as a nice collaboration aspect. So that is something I just wanted to bring it up from this. And this is the my I mean, I'm touching upon the ego of people here at this point of time, where I have, it's my, again, my personal own observation that I identified a community of industry, health authorities, which is regulatory, and others. What we all forgot in the industry is that we have come to the industry from academia. I always go to door in my company. Whenever I say somebody, oh, you are thinking like an academician, then I say, sorry, I came from academia. Therefore, I cannot do any job better than thinking like an academician. I was trained in an academia, in a university, under a professor. If Novartis is developing novel products, Pfizer is bringing best medicines, the credit goes indirectly to the university. Because industry prepared this army, I mean, academia prepared this army, and the credit goes to academia mainly because academia prepared these soldiers and sent them to the battles in the industry. So if I'm well trained in academia, that means I always think with an academic thinking. But whereas I act like a businessman because business has timelines, milestones, profit loss statements, because public all we are accountable from them. We cannot just sit on it and do this. So they create that pressure for us to perform. So what we are forgetting is now there is a lot of psychological imbalance differences between the scientists in industry and academia, because you say that I'm in the industry, therefore you professor, you don't think like us, therefore we don't want to collaborate. Or some big professors say, oh, you guys are too short term oriented, you guys don't think good, therefore we don't like to collaborate. I feel very sad because these two institutes are not optimally doing a great collaboration. I mean, there are some good collaborations happen here and there, but 80% of the time, I don't think we are doing a great job. So my point here is that I am also educating some of the industry scientists in conferences saying that let us keep our academic brain alive so that we can really collaborate with another academic brain in an academic institute. Because unless two minds synchronize, have similar philosophies, it is very difficult to build a collaboration bonding. Same thing in health authorities. Health authorities are also, we go and tell them that why health authorities like FDA or drug controller's office in India, why are they not using academic institutes to do some kind of a retrospective analysis? How many drugs have been submitted by the companies under a very good confidentiality agreement with all the legal procedures, processes? Why we don't do lot of research and then develop it? I think it has to be done. And there are so many non-profit organizations like this malaria for medicines, malaria medicines for malaria venture, tuberculosis alliance, Gates Foundation. I mean, they are all involved in healthcare research. And I don't also, I mean, they're all doing collaborations, but I'm saying the academic brain in these institutes have to be really fostering towards bonding with where we have born out of. Uh, And when you are also, I mean, then the people in academia, I'm requesting that when you are interacting with industry scientists for a collaboration, please remind all of us one more time that the our birth was given by the academic institutes only. Then I think these people would come forward to really do collaboration. I know this is a common place. All of us, even though we born at a different place, we migrated to different communities or countries. You can think that way, but we all meet at one place in the scientific associations or consortiums and do this. We try to collaborate, have workshops, symposiums, share our perspectives, and we have. I mean, this is a traditional practice that we have been doing. I mean, we should continue to do this, but beyond that, we need to evolve to a next level of collaboration if possible from an interface. So, I'm going in a monotony tone. Let me just break it for a 3-4 a few seconds here. Anybody has one? I mean, I can open the platform for one question so that uh, I can break this monotony here. Any question here? If not, what is the temperature like in Bhimavaram today? Is it very hot today in Bhimavaram? So can you all hear me?
It's 35, sir.
35. Oh, okay. Summer. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. This is Ravi Kumar
Yeah.
from faculty, Sri Vishnu College of Pharmacy. A small question, sir, because you asking opportunity. That is just at this junction exactly where you are explaining about collaboration. So how to build a trust? I mean, from the institutions to the company.
Yeah.
Because I always feel there is a gap between companies and academia, that because industries are not having belief and trust on the academia.
Correct. Yeah.
You already mentioned that point, but still the question is that how that trust can be built up so that at some point of time the industry will trust the academic works, and so the opportunities will open.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very good question, because this is what we debate all the time in the company when we acquire compounds or the target molecules from various companies and small companies and academic institutes, right? Is the data in the, suppose, let us say, for example, in a university where research is very active, do the research really happen in a high quality standard? What are the checks and balances that we have? Suppose I can tell you that even in a smallest lab in a company, probably you would appreciate, even though it's not a GLP or a GCP or GMP kind, everybody has to have one kind of a standard operating procedure. Cleaning laboratory equipment or glass cylinders and what are those measuring vessels and conical flasks, there is an SOP. And whoever comes to that company joins first 2 days SOP training, whether they like it, whether they know it, whether they don't. So now what happens is, when the data comes out of that small company, people believe that, okay, there is this happening. So that is the level of, suppose those people who graduated 20 years ago in academic institutions and those now who are working in the company, they know that when they were studying in the colleges, these colleges did not have those standards. But now in 20 years, universities have evolved and professors have become more like businessmen than even business people can do. They do a lot of consultations, gets grants. They're smart. I mean, they hire postdocs, graduate students, they maintain laboratory manuals and stuff like that. But somebody has to go and tell that, hey, when you visit our campus, not only looking at the buildings, not only looking at the size and auditoriums, show your SOPs, show your manuals and how people are handling equipment, what training we are giving. I think those are the aspects they start. They are the one which seeds the trust factor. I can tell you, forget about academia and industry, right? For example, for multinational companies like these top 10 companies, when small companies sell their products concepts, we even do not have trust that their data is correct. Because they think that, okay, they cut short the waste because they don't have enough money. They might have done this experiment and the quality is this, and can we really trust this data? Is it really going to be a value? So I think, sorry, I don't know whether I addressed your question, but these are the main aspects we need to build in the infrastructure, so that we need to invest our time and resources so that long-term relationships can be built through trust. Yeah.
Yes, sir. True, sir. Actually, the premier institutions are already, I think, in that process.
Yes.
Almost like our institution also striving for us. No, only that I asked that question is that students are always inferior. What they're actually experiencing in the institutions compared to the industries, what there is exposure. Like it is not, it is unlike in Western countries. There is no much difference in terms of research which is taking place in the industry and academia. So here there is a huge gap. So that inferiority complex is there with the students and staff. I mean, compared to the industry. So that's what.
Agreed.
Thank you, sir.
No,
You answered my question.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Great. So now I'm going back to my presentation just to say what is traditionally we have been doing in an academia and industry. What we do, suppose if I'm doing a clinical trial, if it's a university hospital, a physician who is a professor of medicine who actually does clinical research with the medical PhD students and nursing students, we interact with them, and that's it. Project is given, project is done, collaboration is done. Or otherwise we organize trainings, 1-day workshops, 2-day workshops. Industry organizes for students, sometimes the students and professor goes, or academia organizes 1 or 2-day workshops for the education, so we all go exchange information and go. And then only it's a 2-day workshop means relationship is only 2 days, but there is no sustained relationship. Sometimes these traditional relationships are like key opinion leaders. So at project team, suppose if a very good professor who is very good in pharmacokinetics, biopharmaceutics, and they know how to get a waiver for not conducting a clinical study, probably we know that person only, I mean, even handful, you can literally count these experts in this, and they are being asked by all the companies every time they go per day. They give some money, they listen to them, and then send them back. The relation is done. And these are all like a fee for service or pay for service kind of a models. But there is no relationship, there is no bonding, there is no community, there is no family of a concept that we all work together and we all plow the land together, we all sow the seeds together, we all grow the trees together, we will all harvest the fruits at the end. That concept is not like, okay, you come here, you do and leave. But later point of time, then people started coming into these traditional models of co-development of drugs, like in-licensing business model. So one academic professor extracts something from some herbal extract or some marine extract. Now we find some good data in the preclinical animals that we do in our institutes. Then they give it to industry, and there are very few, you can say, from academia and industry. And traditionally we can also, what we know is that in many medical, at least in the medical field, I see very good amount of collaboration, that treatment guidelines for, let us say, how to treat a non-small cell lung cancer carcinoma. I think all the industry members will be there, government members will be there, and physicians associations will be there, oncology associations, and then they develop these things. Or FDA develops regulatory guidances, involve academic professors and then industrial scientists. But this is very traditional. This is all like a need based. You need me, okay, we are there. Oh, we need a paper, let us come together. But nobody comes together like a long term. Ayo, this is the problem of unmet medical need in the society, and our college or university has these tools. We are very strong at it. Industry, you have money and support and infrastructure in regulatory policies and all in this one. Can we really form a joint collaboration and then take it forward? And those are the kind of things I'm actually trying to encourage in the communities where I'm speaking at right now. So I can give you 4 examples here. uh, I will send these slides so that at least for the information of faculty members, I'll send it to Dr. Kumar and he can disseminate them to you. I mean, in Google, if you type this, you can learn more than these slides. But you see, this is an immune disease institute at Harvard, and GlaxoSmithKline in 2008 had a very good program. I mean, what I want you to look at is, sorry, the pointer is gone. I think, see, it is a 5-year, 25 million research collaboration. If one Harvard could do, and many other institutes could do, what we need to always look at, I think especially good academic institutes, which has an appetite to do good research. I think I strongly believed why Dr. Kumar chose to go to Sri Vishnu College of Pharmacy, since I think I can see that he's a good researcher. So I can see that your institute has that kind of an appetite to become like this, an academic institute with certain competencies of proprietary in nature. So Harvard actually runs those programs in that mode. They teach, they serve patients in the medical school, but they run research programs which are very competitive to the industry. Now an industry could go and spend, okay, let us do a $25 million research collaboration. Let us identify all the inflammatory markers that are, I mean, you imagine that, right? The inflammation is ultimately leading to all these problems. And now, of course, in the world, everybody is educated because of COVID, that cytokine storm, which is an inflammation and immune reaction. As long as you tackle inflammation, you pretty much address the problems of many diseases where you don't have otherwise control. And this is one nice example. You can actually look and learn how this Harvard has developed their infrastructure to get to this level. Same thing, this is a Columbia University collaboration in the area of diabetes and obesity. It was also a multi-year relationship. I think they were also in the figures of 25 to 50. The reason I did not put that money is because various reports I've seen, the numbers were different. But AstraZeneca actually initiated this as like a 10-year collaboration. I think they concluded this couple of programs by 2017, and then they initiated new programs with this university and few other areas. Now, what we have to learn, because when I give lectures to the academic institutes, I am asking these institutes to say, what did Columbia University do uniquely to attract AstraZeneca as a partner with for their research program? Next one is a Pfizer and UCSF in San Francisco. This is actually relevant in today's world, these viral diseases and all. How do we really bring these? Suppose, fortunately, I would say in the blessing in disguise, COVID pandemic, even though it is dreadful at a certain level, but it is not dreadful that much. But imagine a situation if COVID is really dreadful, that it transmits much faster and human immunity is not adequate enough to handle this, and the mortality rate is extremely high. In these generations of last 40, 50 years, so many companies, so many universities, greatest brains on the planet, we are able to send something to Mars in no time, and somebody is able to dock the rocket booster back onto the ship in easily today. Can we really come out with a drug or a vaccine in 3 months and then do this and give it to patients? I bet that none of this infrastructure available anywhere in the world. The main reason is that people are not working together. Everybody is working pieces and meal. And then now we are when a crisis comes, we don't have a solution. It's all everybody in a leisure thing. So in the Pfizer UCSF partnership, if you go and read in the Google, what they were trying to do is very quickness is the important thing. How do you computationally figure out the chemical folds? How do you identify the target receptor, identify this molecule, and come out with fast, high throughput screening? These words are there, but not when the crisis, when the world under emergency, when requires, it's not there. But at least these collaborations are the one which is at least helping today. Whatever we talk about, by next year, we can have some kind of vaccine. Probably the credit goes to these kind of collaborations, but we need to do more of these in order for us to manage crises like this in the future. And this is a Novartis and MIT collaboration. This is mainly on the pharmaceutical production process. This I know it's a pretty much like a $65 million collaboration. And Novartis has committed manufacturing R&D resources and also giving $65 million by trusting these MIT scientists. And then MIT is also getting a lot of value once the product is launched based on this technology. They get royalties and stuff like that. Now I ask other institutes to say, what did MIT do so uniquely? We always say they have brightest professors, they have greatest students, they get the best talent from the world. I think that is all for me is a trash. Probably the only thing what I believe they have is there is one visionary in that institute who took a position on the ground saying that my institute must do research sincerely in any topic that they do, and it must be reliable and accountable to the society. I think that's the only philosophy that changes, nothing else beyond that. I think that is very unique to this all these universities. Money and all can come from various directions, but that conviction of doing right thing over generations, over number of across functions and disciplines is the thing that we need to learn from these MITs, Columbia's, and UCF, SFs, and institutes. So I just wanted to give you these 4 examples where I see that industry and academia at least got into some place to really do a good collaboration. So this, I think, interfacial tension, the way I look at it is this is like oil in water today. In majority of the cases, not in every cases, I should not blame that there are no collaborations exist. I think there are some collaborations that are extremely good, but they're very minimal in number. And we need to grow these collaborations more. And most of the time what happens is the collaborations are like this. An academic person, individual having a individual in the industry collaboration, or an academician individual have institute collaboration. What happens, these collaborations, one of the side effects of these collaborations is if an individual leaves or moves, the collaboration actually falls through. And that's where the time it takes to reconnect, re-establish the collaboration and get into the extra speed, which doesn't really happen. So that is where most of the collaborations that I have been reading in the magazines and this thing, very individual dependent rather than institute dependent. So I am actually, even though if any person works for an institute, I mean, this is just like those sayings like the country doesn't mean the soil and country means it is all about people. Same thing, the institutes do not mean just buildings and computers and laboratory equipment. It is more about the talent and the people. But every person in an institute must work towards an institute's collaboration model rather than an individual collaboration model. It is very difficult. It takes time for us to build that kind of a culture. But if I am working for Novartis, I must have an ability that it is not Ganga is collaborating with Vishnu College of Pharmacy. It is Novartis collaborating with Vishnu. So that is the level of conviction one has to have. Then only these interfacial tensions will go down and institutes can actually collaborate better than individuals because institutes have lawyers, institutes actually guide their contracts and everything very well. And also, I just want to talk about this. Even today, in many academic institutes, we are not comfortable with this new grammar in drug discovery or development. We talk about some, I mean, in journal clubs and all in the campuses, you may read, talk. But I think I strongly believe that these are the buzzwords or the language is very popular in the industry and regulatory policies and stuff. So academia should also adopt this language and in their dictionary and set up a department of pharmacogenetics, even though you can have a cell biology department, pharmacology department. But I say that one professor should take responsibility. Okay, he's a coordinator for pharmacogenetics lab or a coordinator for toxicogenomics or a lead, program lead for proteomics. They don't have to have departments in that name, but I think once we adopt these titles, then it is very easy for people across the these institutes, they can actually bond much easier because they're all talking the same language. And I think this is my last but one slide, but I wanted to just bring that industry is developing pharmaceutical products with a nice label, nice product information content, beautifully packaged in a capsule, tablet, or in a beautiful bottle or a syringe or everything. And those products are seen by the patients across the world. But there is a lot of science behind it, there is a lot of data behind it, and none of it patients see. But at least we can say these are the products from the industry. At least industry products are seen. But what are the products that an academia can produce where industry should use? These should be the products. These products should be branded by an institute. For example, if you go and see Harvard Business Review, I don't know how many of you have read online few articles that there are Harvard Business Review articles for business students. I mean, they cover some of their books, their papers. They are called products. I mean, you can take a case study of a pharmacogenetics lab for cellular genomics. They actually wrote a case study on it. They interviewed that CEO, interviewed their employees who works in the company, who left the company, what went well, what did work. And so they teach all these business people as a case studies for them. And therefore, by the time a Harvard MBA graduate comes out of the business school, the person theoretically really know how a company was formed and ran and earned money. Same thing I'm asking in the pharmaceutical R&D sector, that if one, for example, if I take a Gleevec, an anti-cancer drug for Novartis, is there anybody has written a good story on Gleevec to teach the next generation scientists and current generation scientists in this? So this is called a product that an academic institute can really produce by learning more about industry. And another product I'm saying is databases, models, and technologies. As I told you already in the that value chain of drug discovery and stuff, I think in the literature, there are some companies in Hyderabad now I see they go and take all the literature published on a, for example, all anti-cancer drugs. They collect all the molecules data, their log Ps, their chemistry models, how many in vitro, what cell lines they have studied, what IC50s, what EC50s. They compile a repository of data, which company, what time, how many animal studies, and create a data. But I say this work should be done more by the PhD students, M.Pharm students, whenever their experiments are running or when it is part of their education, so that that institute have a database of information on a compound or a disease. Then industry will come, hey, can you share your database because we are looking into next generation compound. So it actually naturally attracts the academia, industry to the academia. Same thing, models, right? If you are developing one experiment, whether it is a right or wrong model, but you validate that one, saying that it is only 50% effective. That's okay. It's like a diagnostic kit for COVID. It's a 30% false positive. It's okay, but it can still be used for certain experiments. Like these diffusion cells that we know in transdermal in pharmaceutical departments we use. I mean, they're age-old models that have been developed, and but nothing new is coming from many of our schools in India. At least I can say we have to start thinking about these models. Similarly, now these data sciences, artificial intelligence, and especially colleges like Vishnu College of Pharmacy, where Pharm.D pharmacy practice students are there, we- you can enter into agreements with some very busy hospitals in India and then understand what is the patient journey, how are they responding to the treatments. Anonymized data, no patient privacy policies are affected, but bring the information, analyze and understand why Indian patients are responding, not responding, so that Indian pharmaceutical companies can come and talk to the pharmacy, Vishnu College of Pharmacy, and learn and make their models available. So I think we need to now, what I'm trying to say is, while industry is developing their own databases with their limited data, academic institutes do have an opportunity to develop some of their own internal databases so that we can all talk and discuss and collaborate based on the data and all, rather than just and FTEs or full-time employees. So, I mean, it's my conclusion here. Then we'll take on to more questions. My only thing is students are the best ambassadors between academic institute and an industry. I mean, because every industry scientist is born out of an academia, as I mentioned. Students actually, if they can find some time, or we have to naturally create a space of time for students to get internships and stuff. And I know there is a complaints from some institutes say that, oh, industries don't give and stuff, but I can tell you, if we manifest and if we have a strong conviction, that internship programs can really happen, so that even faculties to do sabbaticals in industry, 6 months sabbatical. If faculty is very sincere, very diligent, they understand the copyright policies and trademark policies, and if they respect all these things, many faculty members, I think University of Uppsala in Sweden, their faculty members actually come to Novartis Switzerland office, and they spend 1-2 years of sabbaticals and learn and go back to the university again and then implement collaborative research. So I think that we need to do. There is one request from a business standpoint. I say that whenever we hire, even when I was hired, I can tell you this way. When I was hired from an academic institute to the industry, I can tell you that industry has lost almost productivity of around 12 months. Because by the time I really pick up industry jargon, industry practices, how it operates, how the things are done, how to write, how to present, how to do this, I think I can tell you that industry has lost 1 year. So in the 10-year journey of a drug development cycle, 1 year I can tell you it is mainly because we are training people. Actually, if we can implement such training in the academic institute when the student is there, if we can provide that industrialized education back at the school, almost we can reduce 1 year in R&D cycle. Therefore, patients can get the required medicine 1 year earlier. Imagine how much value we are adding to the society in terms of saving lives. And so I think those are the places where we need to really spend, how to give training to the students so that they can translate into service by collaborating with industry very early on. And I think, as I again, last point is we have to still thinking about translating. Industry had so much data buried in their archives. I can think that in 1996, when me and Dr. Kumar worked at Dr. Reddy's Foundation, I can tell you how many diabetes molecules we touched, how many oncology molecules touched in just 1 year in my memory. But I don't know where the data is now. Dr. Reddy stopped that research. Can somebody get that all that data, put it in the academic institute and teach students those drugs, so that my next generation student leaves the academic institute with those molecular knowledge rather than it is burying, unnecessarily wasting? I think industry has so many gold mines like diamonds of knowledge that we can bring it to the academia and really train students effectively, so that we can really bring medicines faster to the clinic and save many lives, and which is ultimately our motive should be. Yeah. So with this, I conclude this presentation, and then I will take questions and address this. Thank you. Sorry if I have gone over time. Shall I stop sharing so that I can see?
Thank you, sir. Your perception regarding collaboration was very useful and touching to all of us. Especially the molding, training, exposure should be over at the institute level, so that after entering the industry, the persons or a student should start the real work. And for all these things, collaboration is a must. So now I welcome any participants from Zoom can ask your question by unmuting yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I'll start. Yes, I hear you.
Yes, sir. I am a regulatory student. My question is, what are the benefits can a company get from collaborating with the university, sir? Has the university academia, we can get benefits like practical knowledge and also get direct contact with experienced people. What can a company can get with collaborating with university, sir?
Yeah, I mean, that goes at a different level, right? Suppose, I mean, we can take it in two different levels, right? This one, I have a department, let us say, I have been running this department for last 5 years, and I hired a team of people 5 years ago, and they are very busy just managing the projects 5 years. They're so tired doing this. Literally, when you join in an industry works on a dollar to dollar or rupee to rupee basis. That means whatever work that you have, if it is 100 units of work you have, you pretty much get only 60 units of workforce to get that done. What it means is that it's always works on an under-resourced climate. That means each associate in the industry is pretty much busy day and nights, basically. They don't have time to really look at the new literature that is published in the Journal of Biochemistry journal or anything. But we are all scientists. We all want to learn the new things. We also want to do exciting things. But as a manager, what should I do from the point of my team's morale? So if I collaborate with one of your faculty members in a university who is right on the dot, a state of the art science, that means this person has read the paper published last night and updated his or her slides, and they are ready with it. So what I can do, I can collaborate with this university, with this professor, for example, have a periodic every 6 months, every 1 year. I can infuse this new knowledge into my tired workforce so that I can build their muscle stronger so that they can do a better job in the next year, next project, next program. So I think that is how, I mean, I can tell you that we are currently looking at the value proposition from academia is only as a one way that, oh, industry has a lot of experience, industry has a lot of money, only people in academia. I doubt. I mean, since I am in the industry, I can see how much universities can offer to me, but many universities are also very busy in their own administrative problems, correcting papers, going to invigilation, doing this viva voce exam. I know they have to do as part of teaching, but I also want to understand how can we make these professors can really spend time on this new science and new knowledge on. So that is one level of value I can say. Second level is that industry always works on programs that are immediately business attractive. That means if somebody discovered some molecule for an oncology, something, every industry sheep goes in the oncology path. Nobody thinks about anti-infective medicine, antiviral medicine. Because see, COVID situation, if you go, I can tell you in 2000, when SARS and MERS both, I would call them as a semi-pandemics or even epidemics, big epidemics, larger epidemics, I can say. During that time, there was so much research done by the groups, antiviral research groups, that so and so class of compounds which are used in several other disease areas could kill these corona kind of viruses. And if you go, I mean, I was doing this research during the COVID time because I'm in the immunosuppression transplant therapeutic area. So COVID, I was extremely busy during the COVID time to see whether all our products in immunosuppression therapies can they be useful in COVID. So during that time, I started looking at the research. If you look at this, only 2 years there is a spike of publications during the crisis time. After 2013, not many publications, and nobody picked up that. That means industry is gone. It's with heart failures, cancer diseases, and gene therapies for the which are important also. Industry always goes behind this. But somebody in the academia, if they were holding that research and developing those molecules, understanding more mechanisms of action, today industry would directly jump and grab that molecule and then brought it to the patients. So industry made money, academic institutes work recognized, and academic institute made money. But at the end, patients got the medicine at the right time, not after some time. So that is why I'm saying that there is a lot of potential that academic institutes can attract industries to pursue businesses if institutes do good amount of research. Yeah, I think those are the two ways of thinking I have from industry point of view.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, so Dr. Gangadhar Garu, hello.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, please.
I'm from Canada, so I'm a
Oh, very
medicinal
nice.
chemist.
Oh, very
So
nice.
basically, as you pointed out, I think I work for industry and university collaboration.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's University of Montreal and Bristol Myers Squibb. So basically, as previous audience commented, what institute will gain. So basically, what industry will gain, because institute basically they do research on novel mechanism of action. So where industry don't have much resources to work on those early stage targets. So that's where we came into collaboration basically. So,
fantastic.
and then they basically, people who are working in medicinal chemistry, these are all trained from big pharma. So there's a quality, as you mentioned, so quality of research is available to attract industry. So that's first thing that you mentioned, I think quality of research. Another thing is a confidentiality, right? So where, where in developed countries, confidentiality is a really serious thing. So if you break your confidentiality, and probably you will never get a job in other companies. So that is something which is lacking in India because there is no fear of punishment, right?
Yeah.
So that's something. So I think culture of motivation, so that's the culture of innovation. That's something that it's lacking basically. So
Correct.
the question in terms of chemistry and industry, I mean, here is a big big gap basically, right? We have excellent chemists who manufacture them, a lot of generic drugs with a great difficulty chemistry. So, okay, but I don't see that that much drug discovery is ongoing in India. So do you see, and what is the real problem? So why, I mean, we have a lot of good biologists academia, but so that if you want to work on drug discovery, but we need a both component, pharmacology, biology, and chemistry. That's where the point is missing basically. So, I mean, where do you see the gap in terms of, working discovery in India?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fair observation. And this is the question we have been asking since I spent time in Dr. Reddy's days. I mean, in 1996, when Dr. Anju Reddy set up this beautiful lab, Dr. Reddy's Research Foundation, I mean, the kind of infrastructure he had set up, the motivation he had, I think he was pretty much going in the direction of bringing a novel molecule from India. I mean, we thought that it would happen, yes.
Yeah,
but it's gone. Now it's gone.
Yeah, that time, because you guys are working on PPAR, SGLT inhibitors. I think those are one of, now you see there's some company, they really, they marketed. I think at somewhere something they lost. I think they did not continue or something. I mean, Reddy was a good company to initiate, So that's something
so
that
I think one thing I personally notice this, why India is not able to really come out with its own indigenous novel molecule for a novel therapy or a first-in-class medicine is, I think I simply go to the fundamentals of business. Is for us, for any company to develop, for example, Pfizer's, Novartis, Merck's and all, they have a lot of endurance and patience and all the required resources for the 10 to 12 years so that they can come. I mean, they have talent, they have money, and they have endurance to wait for 12 years. I mean, sometimes I write a business plan or a project plan for my program. 2027, what trial I'm doing? I mean, it looks so silly in my slides, but for me, what the hell in 2027? But we still write that slide now in the 2027 slide. I think the Indian companies now, from a money resources point of view, as well as the capability point of view, is little bit under resourced. And third one is, until we get that critical mass of money and the talent, that endurance piece doesn't come, because companies want tomorrow the success. Because a generic product, I can bring it in a 6 months to the market and make money, whereas a NCE, I need to wait 12 years, means the businessman doesn't get that philosophy. So I think
the long-term commitment is not there, basically. So
yeah,
that question is, how is something that with academia, like a biotech company, they can pop up. If you have come up with a novel target, they can have a collaboration with the people like experienced chemists or something, that they can make molecules. And that if you bring it up to the little bit level, small preclinical level, then you have a chance that you can attract big pharma and take over, and that's where we have to start. But it looks like any big pharma generic companies are not, whatever they're doing research discovery, just probably for the sake of doing something to get incentives. Yeah, I think your talk is
but I think what I am also looking at from academic institutes and Indian companies also, just like the way this viral pandemic is across the globe, our focus of collaboration is beyond India. I think anything, suppose hypothetically speaking, if a small academic institute in India wants to really build a great research infrastructure, I think their target is bigger than India. Their knowledge, their infrastructure should be attracting enterprises outside of. Unless we go that way, it's very difficult to bring these novel drugs from India much faster. I had an opportunity to work closely with a Telangana health secretary to set up a cell therapy facility in Hyderabad in collaboration with CCMB. I mean, these are the elements. I mean, I was trying to foster collaboration with somebody in UCLA, professor in that one, and also University of Pennsylvania. So how do we bring all these pieces together to set up an internationally renowned facility? It's nothing to do with India anymore. India is one. So like that, I think we have to start thinking big. Yeah.
I have a second question. So,
yeah, please.
So in your mind, you're being in the draw, and development. So, question is, again, as you mentioned, that discovering a drug is a really long process. It takes up 10 to 15 years for a small molecule. So where do you think we are? How do we reduce this this timeline? I mean, is it because of lack of efficacy model that are not available, or is it something? So where do you see, like, next future, the technology that we have, AI and something, is it useful to speed up this process?
Yeah, no, a great question. Right, this is the question we ask in all our programs on a daily basis. That when can you bring this to phase 3 trial faster? When can you register faster? Because company always wants to show it to the investors that we are beating the clock. I mean, we are 2 years ahead of the game. So this competition also runs. So everybody is looking into this. Where is this white space that how can we reduce it, right? In my mind, even though we have evolved this irrational designs to rational drug design and then happened, this knowledge transmission from one group to other group and translating this relay process is very linear. That means my preclinical chemist and my preclinical scientist are running, and after they run, they stop. The clinical person come little later and hold their button and then run. If I can make sure my clinical folks also run pretty much at the 50% of the distance where preclinical folks are there, then they can really do this segmented kind of a run, basically the relay in the past. So I think that is where I am seeing that some kind of collaboration must happen between these interfaces very well.
Nice talking to you. I think I took a long time to discussing with you. So I'd like you chance for
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
Nice talk, very inspirational for youngster students, including myself.
Thank you.
Sir, very good morning, sir. I am Dr. Raghu Prasad from Vishnu College of Pharmacy.
Very good.
This was the best talk in last 6 days what I have heard. Thank you for the same. The major inhibition here is with us is the industry academia collaboration.
Yes.
Though I have done some work, I'm not able to attract the industry, or industries may not be interested in my work, and so on and so forth. I had to face a lot of problems even to go ahead with my own work. Our expertise is only in synthesis, and though we have expertise in antibacterial screening and all, we won't be able to do those kind of anti-TB activity or antiviral activity in our laboratories because of the infrastructure what we have. If I want to collaborate with some industry, no one are coming forward to me. Ultimately, what happened? I went on begging everyone. Even National Institute of Malarial Research, I begged for the screening for anti-malarial activity. Okay, and last they agreed. They will screen only one compound for me.
Yes.
There is really a gap. I really felt whatever you expressed. I really experienced that in the last 5-6 years journey.
Correct. Yes,
Though now I have patented my molecule, and I'm not able to go ahead for selling the molecule, or to go ahead, even we are not selling, at least to go ahead with the same molecule or improve upon that.
Correct. Yeah.
Though I have patent, I'm keeping my patent with me and sitting. I'm not able to go ahead.
Yes.
Here the industry people, if they come to the academics and they have some investment in the academic sector, like I worked with University of Bonn, Germany. Like some industries invest in the academic sector, some part of it, 5% or 10%, something like that.
Correct. Yeah.
That is not happening here. Is there any possibility of this kind of things?
Yeah. No. I think Dr. Raghu, thanks for your good question. And I mean, I see this is very natural. It's happening. I know my answer is going to be very, very fluid, very superficial, but there is a message in it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Imagine even a blockbuster pharmaceutical product that multinational companies develop, they don't make money. You know that, right?
Yeah.
How much time companies spend on their marketing and sales? Suppose, let us say, if Novartis launches a big product in oncology, which has a potential to make $1 billion peak sales. Yeah, actually, each year it almost spends 60 to 70% of the revenues on the marketing and sales only.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes this happens to us everywhere, right? It's not only in us. If you go to Hyderabad, as simple as in Hyderabad, Triple IT, these ISBs, and there are the institutes. Everybody has a algorithm. They want to sell it to companies, and nobody buys it. And there are companies that do a different way of marketing. And so, what I'm trying to say is that our faculty has to be coached and trained to do these business presentations and to be presented them as the leaders in that particular area. So unless if it comes from somebody very well known or well branded product, even that's the way, right? The way we go to market and buy a branded product, industry also doesn't buy this product immediately from the academic institute.
Yes,
so that is where I am saying the way we have to collaborate is like us who are working day in, day out. We know we review so many applications at the industry, looking at due diligences. That means small companies come and pitch their ideas to this and say, we have this target, can we collaborate and stuff? And we form a team, and I'm part of a team, look at all the clinical data, clinical pharmacology data, and give an assessment. And with these things, we learn quite a bit of these tactics of presentations, how to make beautiful slides, because great science is already there for you, but you need to package it. And how do you select your target industry? And suppose medicines for malaria venture, how do you strategically connect to the head of that person? How do you build a relationship before you sell an idea? And this is a big game that people have to be trained as well. So
Okay,
that is
sir.
where I'm saying we have to learn up state of that science from you, and industry has to teach you some business tactics so that we all mutually go together for a positive benefit.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, yeah, good.
Sir, I have a question for you from YouTube chat.
Okay.
So the question is like this: as per MCI, there is a hospital in medical college where specialized persons or doctors deals with the students. But when it comes to pharmacy, why there is no scientists or researchers from industry gives exposure to pharmacy students voluntarily?
No, I think as Dr. Reddy, right, from Montreal, I forgot Doctor's name. I think see, I think there is a question also coming. Voluntarily is a different thing. See, a public hospital is a government hospital. Having a medical college is a public enterprise. So people can be there. They can talk to each other. Now let us talk about an industry versus an academic institute. That right? Industry is like a for-profit institute with lot of these proprietary information and everything. So an industry cannot directly come and say, guys, you 100 people come here, I can train you. I don't think industry does it. What we have to, for industry to do, suppose I can say, let us say Vishnu, I mean, I don't want to, Vishnu, let us say an academic institute A, they can go and talk to some 10 industries. One is in the formulation, one is in the drug discovery, one is in chemistry, one is in biologics, one is in analytics. There are so many companies in Hyderabad. And explain the vision of the institute and say that we want to give students an opportunity to expose ourselves. And this should done at a institute to institute level. I have seen in many schools they ask students to go and find internship. I don't understand why. How can a student find an internship on their own? They have to know some cousin or a neighbor or somebody to tell them and stuff. No, it is not right in my sense. An institute has to set up a road, a built for the student to set up these internships by talking to the industry. And then industry, then over a period of time, like 1-2 batches go, they learn from the industry institute interaction, they optimize the process. And that point forward, they will come to you and then say, can you send 2 students to work on this project? Can you send 4 students? But that relationship is not there for industry to voluntarily act. Industry can spend money today to get some contractor or a consultant from an outside rather than going to a university. So that is how I see the problem. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So in today's crisis, we have strived to make our time fruitful, and here in SBCP, Vishnu College of Pharmacy, we believe in universal learning. So we are lucky enough to have our director, sir, who made it possible by providing excellent speakers from various corners of the globe to enlighten all with their research experience. And I must add, not only the research experience, but we got excellent career guidance from many of our speakers. I hope everyone, participants, delegates, followers, had their week fruitful. Now I request our director, sir, to say few words, and I wish you all have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm speechless now with the way Dr. Gangadhar has presented his own thoughts, and which is truly a original presentation. So unlike the conventional presentations where in scientific webinars or conferences, one would present the data of the group of people who generated data and share their knowledge. And today's presentation is very unique, and you made it in your own style and made us to think beyond the science. And you also made these technical words and jargons which make us understand the concept much better. I must thank you and appreciate your passion towards the better medicine discovery and delivery at a cheaper cost. And I know you are very compassionate, and your words are well taken, and the community in large, and the SCCP faculty and the students in specific, we'll try our attempts to do our piece of job in reaching that big purpose. I do agree the medicines are coming from big companies, and they're very, very costly, and many patients cannot afford for that. And Indian government is trying their Indian way of treatment. I believe that too has some science in it and needs a lot of validation. I think we can couple both the science and the validation aspects. I think we'll also come with our own medicines, which are definitely useful for some indications where big companies are not at all touching those areas. Right now, like TB is one area where big companies are no more interested. They are all neglected diseases. They're not profits, and they're not worldwide disease also. So I think the points that you mentioned today should be a good thought-provoking for all the participants of this webinar, and I believe some of them do take it seriously and do their big job in making themselves prosper, successful, and that contributing to the society. So with this note, I must thank Gangadhar for stimulating all of us. I'm listening very passionately from the first word to the last word, and being from industry, being in academia now. I am also at the interface now. I'm not able to jump from this side to that side, or from that side to this side. I'm understanding the logistics. I'm sure there are many faculty are very excited in making advance in their research, and I do understand the other side of the business. So I'll try to do my bit help for them, and making the whole process successful. It's now probably for you is almost 2 o'clock for you.
And 2 o'clock in the morning. That's okay. Yes.
Yeah. So and I know you all whole day you are very busy doing many things, even today also.
Yeah,
So I'm not able to express. I'm a little overwhelmed with their talk and the way the faculty or the students are asking questions today. And they're very genuine concerns, and it's an evolving process. And as Gangadhar mentioned very clearly and lucidly, that's we all need to step up, and at the urgency we need to work and help our society in a bigger way. This note being the last presentation, and this is one of the very enlightening presentation, and from the first webinar to the last webinar, I am pleased with the content delivered by all the presenters. And Dr. Reddy is one of the speakers today who was asked the questions. He talked about antivirals discovery, and he also participated in all the events. And thank you, Dr. Reddy, and thank you all the senior faculty and for motivating the SVCPians and all the participants from different colleges and all the principals who are making this event successful. I must thank. I'm excited, and with this kind of interactions, I believe we organize much more events, and people like Dr. Reddy, Dr. Gangadhar do help us again and again, and enlighten us, and we'll move into the right direction. So Gangadhar, would you like to add any more points? And
yeah,
also,
no, first of all, yeah. No, please complete, and then I'll.
So, and you and also want Dr. Reddy also add few points at the end. Yeah. Gangadhar, please go ahead.
No. Thank you. First, Dr. Kumar, thank you, first of all, for giving me this opportunity. I'm impressed with the dedication that you guys have for learning. By even during this COVID crisis time, you are able to pull through these workshops and stuff. And I've seen the numbers going on your this thing like 74. I think 75 was the maximum participants today. I mean, that means it's very nice to see that people are adopting to this learning style, and they want to really listen, and they're very curious to get to the community and learning. So that's a great thing. And I mean, I must tell you that I have gone through your whole college website very in detail, and I really see there is a lot of good work and there is a lot of motivation in this. I think whether institutes, while building this institute bonding model over a long term, we, the believers of this community relationship of being in the science for the patients, I think we should push each other to talk to each other often. There is nothing lost. Suppose, I think Dr. Raghu Prasad, right, the malaria compound. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have to disclose any proprietary information or anything, but you can actually, Dr. Raghu Prasad, you can talk to few of us and say where you are stuck. At least we can open our networks of friends, just like any other business deal, right? We know some people, we connect you, and those kind of networks we need to build to propagate your science to the right target. So let us be in touch with each other. And
thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you. And also, I think with your pharmacy students who are graduating, B.Pharm final year students graduating, if they really want to get some kind of a guidance on how to look for jobs, how to do interviews, what to do, what to say in an interview, please don't hesitate to take our help, because sometimes everybody is very knowledgeable, capable, but at that given moment they have to act. I have to act in my job. Everybody who's looking for a job has to act in that moment. And this training is important, and that our institutes do not have time to provide these kind of training. So we can use at least to collaborate in that sense initially, and then slowly grow the collaboration to the next level. Thank you once again for the opportunity.
So
I think Dr. Reddy, over to you.
Oh, hey, Dr. Kumar, thank you for organizing this. I think it's there are a lot of great talks the last 1 week. I enjoyed very much. I could not attend one lecture. It's almost 1:30 in the morning. It was nice to, even though it's 1:30, still I very much enjoyed these talks. And you've done a good job, excellent job organizing these talks for students. It's really learning for students and even staff as well. So I think one message already, a lot of messages given by the speakers. I mean, again, I re-emphasize. I think that the bottom line is, if you want to, I think, stay focused on the research. That's what Dr. Sambareddy was saying. Stay focused on things. There are a lot of diseases or neglected. That for pharmaceutical company, these diseases are basically, they can't work because they are not profitable. But academic researchers can take on these things, stay focused. I mean, definitely one day you work, it may be useful in some, maybe next few years to come, like Dr. Gangadhar mentioned, COVID. I mean, these viruses are being isolated. Even 2013, we have this kind of epidemic, but nobody really pay attention, because a lot of pharmaceutical companies, they shut down the antiviral research because they see that there's no market. After hepatitis C, after we had a great drugs for this program, HIV, AIDS, there's not much money they are making in developed countries. So that's for this reason, so there are a lot of unmet medical needs for very small subpopulation. There's academics can take a risk to work on this because they write a grant. It has to be unique in order to attract from industry, so that's something is possible. And one of the example I tell you, that's cystic fibrosis. I don't know if you have heard about this. Cystic fibrosis is basically this drug came out of basically, this collaboration with the foundation, charitable foundation. So it's the DSD has shown this drug is like a $300,000, So, but I think no company was interested to work on this diseases, but Vertex, took the opportunity, they work like a side project. And today Vertex is surviving based on the cystic fibrosis platform. So when they started this research, it's only about, like 0.4% of the population that what they're targeting, because they're not interested in big pharma. So same thing as, again, as I mentioned. So these are the things that researchers can think differently and then work on these orphan diseases. Basically, it's a great market if something works out, So that's, I think for students also, as Dr. Gangadhar mentioned, the network. The first thing that you want to find the job is a network. 90% of more than 90% of the job you will find through networking. I think you can have any kind of network. Like we have all 6 speakers here. So if anyone has a question, anything, they can always reach to us. We're all trying to help you. We all came from academy. So we all have taken someone help. To get into this industry. So I think I wish you good luck, all the students, staff. I continue this kind of webinar. It could not be a 1 full 6. We could have like, monthly basis or something like interesting talk. I think each student will benefit definitely.
Yeah. So thank you, Reddy. I think I'm sure we'll continue this webinar series, and the support from people like you and Gangadhar is there, and it's always pleasure for us to this kind of webinars. Yeah. Lastly, Gangadhar and Dr. Reddy, if you permission, will ask one student, one faculty, and one student reflect on this to conclude this webinar series.
Please. It's great.
So any faculty and one student, please reflect on this total program, and how do you find it, and what do you expect from the experts, and what all you want to say? Please, quickly, because it's early morning for them. Then we'll wrap up this webinar series for this week.
Yeah, this is Ravi Kumar sir, faculty of Vishnu College of Pharmacy. I'm really seeing the speakers from the US and Canada and different speakers and the consecutive webinars from last the June 1st onwards. Actually, it is really a wonderful opportunity for the students and faculty also to develop and to know a lot of things what is going on that side and this side. And it's really, I could say this is a great opportunity provided by the director, Kumar sir. Thank you for that, sir. This is only possible because you are, as you rightly mentioned, you are at the interface between the industry and academia. Very senior members who are worked and now also currently working at the industry, they have expressed what is the experiences, what they're actually currently having, how the students can and the faculty also can be look and think in that direction. What are the different opportunities? We are actually following all these seminars, webinars. So I think there are very, very useful points, and we learned in the complete webinar. So this is really wonderful opportunity to meet lots of experts from the industry, and all are different topics and unique topics. In this way, I can express my heartfelt thanks to the Kumar sir for providing this opportunity, and it is really, really useful for all of us. I hope the same for the students also. Even faculty also, we learn a lot of things which we do not know earlier with the experience of experts of the speakers. So thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ravi Kumar. So any other student?
Well, they can write emails if any questions,
Yeah.
Quickly, one student.
Push all. We have to push kind of. thing. So it happens. Yeah.
So when the choices are many, it's a problem. So there are about 58 students are there. So about 55. So yeah. So who to start is there? Anyone can start, please, quickly. It's early 2 a.m. for them now.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Shri from Pharm.D. First of all, I should thank our college for providing these webinars. Even though we are at our home, we are experiencing many experiences from the various parts of the world, and especially based on drug development. What we read in the textbooks is quietly different, and from the last 1 week, we have seen many people saying about their experience, what they are practicing in the actual thing. So this makes us to make the difference that what we learn from the textbook is different and what the actual practice is going on, and also so that we can improve our knowledge and we can build them through these webinars. I especially thank Dr. Kumar sir, because without him these many webinars could not be arranged, I hope so. And also I thank college because as it is a COVID time, many of the colleges were doing their actual college practices but not conducting webinars. But our college is quietly different. They have given this opportunity to make our knowledge improve, even though during this COVID times. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Shravani.
Yeah, thank you, Shravani. So good. I think we have to wrap it up now. So I think whole series is so it went so successful. I personally learned a lot, and I see a good interaction between the experts and the students and the faculty. I think hope this tradition to continue, and it is whole purpose is served, I guess. So with this, I thank you all, and hope to see all the same participation in the coming up weeks. So next one is the role of pharmacists in healthcare, organized by pharmacy practice, and following that is innovations in natural product-driven drug discovery and analytical chemistry. So we'll be covering the every specialization of this college. So thank you all, and hope to see you again tomorrow. So have a good day, and a good night to both of you. And
okay, thank you.
And a good sleep and good day. Yeah.
Good day. Okay, bye-bye.